Welcome back to my channel, everyone. 3 tips here. This is a 2 kilo pure silver bar that I cast in a previous video, but I dropped it in the dirt and I used the wrong kind of crucible to try to melt it. And you can see we got 2 kilos and 14 grams. So what we're going to do is we're going to try to melt this bar, flux all that dirt off of there with some borax, and pour another 2 kilo silver bar. I decided to try this experiment to wrap that crucible up in some ceramic wool to insulate it, and then just try to melt that bar right in the crucible. Wasn't sure if this was going to work or not. This is the bar from my first attempt to melt pure silver. This was made from pure silver crystal from my silver cell, so it is high purity silver. And I figured I'd just go ahead, since I had a good success with the gold bar, the big gold bar that I did, to try this out and see if this was going to work or not. I wasn't sure how this was going to act. It's pretty heavy. I mean, 2 kilos is almost, what, 4 pounds or something like that. But I was kind of concerned that it would try to tip over on me, or maybe fall down into the molten pool of metal down in the crucible and spatter and splash the molten metal out. But I didn't have that problem. And if you'll notice here, I've got the end of a metal tweezer, the clean end. When the bar starts to move around in there as it melts, I use that metal tweezer to prevent it from falling. You can see it was melting right there in midair, which is kind of neat. And then you'll see me stick a graphite rod down in there to probe for that piece of silver. And there was a chunk down in there. And then when I put it down in there the second time, I didn't feel that chunk of silver, so everything was molten. Now to do the pour, first I started the nozzle here, the nozzle from my furnace. I think last time I did this, I got that graphite mold too hot and it outgassed, made a bad looking surface. But for this pour, what I'm doing is I'm going to grab the crucible with the pliers, and then I tilt the torch sideways to knock the insulation off of it, and then I just do the pour with a pair of pliers. And it's kind of sloppy. This is my first time doing it like this. I splashed a little metal up out of the mold, but you'll see here as it solidifies in the mold, it's got a pretty decent looking surface to it. I didn't get a bunch of outgassing from the graphite, and I didn't get a whole bunch of bubbling and blisters on the surface, so it looks pretty good. I'm happy with it.
Alright, it's a little sloppy pour, but that's one heck of a silver bar right there. Nice crystalline structure on there. I mean, it's not as pretty as the gold bar, but it ain't too shabby. Looks a lot better than what the first time I tried to pour this. I think if I had a little bit better tools, it would come out a lot nicer. But that's not too shabby.
I've let this cool off for about 15 minutes. I've got a rag in there so I don't damage the surface. I think I can just pour this in there right now, like so. Ooh, that is one heavy
heavy bar of silver. Oh yeah, that thing came out nice. It's got a nice reflective surface. A beautiful crystalline structure there, those blue streaks. Oh yeah, look at that thing, man. It's got some sharp edges on it, so I'll have to dress those up. Pieces here. And if you look down in the bottom of the crucible, some of the silver remained down in the bottom of that crucible. But I'm fairly happy with the way this thing turned out, man. It looks pretty good. A lot better than than what we started with. I looked a little closer at those little nodules there, and it looks like it's some flux, not metal. Looks like some flux. So what we'll do is we'll cook this in a little bit of distilled water and a few milliliters of sulfuric acid, and this should remove the flux off of this bar. Shine it up for us nicely. Got most of that flux off of there. I don't want to leave it in here too long because sulfuric acid will dissolve silver and it will etch the surface of this. So let's go and rinse this off now. Alright, let's see what we got here. That don't look too bad, man. That looks... Wow, look at that thing shine, man. It's still hot. But I think I'm just going to have to let those two little pieces of flux there right on the bar. But it looks superb. Almost like one of my little 5-ouncers. Man. Make sure I got that right. Alrighty. Here's our nice silver bar. Man, that thing shines. See that blue streaks in it? That's an indication of high purity. And so what we'll do is we'll offer this for sale on my eBay site. Man, that thing's gorgeous now. Looks a lot different than what we started with. We've got 1,877 grams, which is 60.3 troy ounces. Alright, this will conclude the video. Thank you for watching.